Alright, so welcome back. This is the second part of my Redux tutorial playlist. If you're done watching the first video, I put the link in the description below. So this is what we have from the last video. We're styling that using Materialize. And now we are gonna working with Redux and React Redux. So let's open the project what we have from the last video and open the terminal, control backtick and new terminal. And in here, what we are going to do is install the Redux and React Redux. Enter that. Alright, so it's done. Let's close the terminal. And the first step, what we are going to do is let's go to the Redux documentation, go to store, scroll down, and we need to import create store function from Redux library. And in here, we initialize the create store and put the reducer inside in here. So let's do in index.js right here. We need to import create store from Redux. Okay, and down here we need to create a variable called store, so that equals to create store and bringing the reducer inside in here, but we don't yet have the reducer. So let's create a reducer. I want to create a folder inside the source folder. Let's do store, and inside the store I'm going to create two folders. The first is action, and the second, let's do in here, second is reducers. Alright, so inside of reducers, I'm going to create file called postReducer.js. Okay, so what is reducer? Reducer is just a function that return an object. So we need to create a function in here called postReducer, set that equals to arrow function. And this function have a property called state and action. Okay, so I just want to just returning the state. But down here we need to export default post reducer. And I'm going to create initial state in here. Just create a const init state, set that equals to object, and I'm going to create post array, and inside in here I'm going to create data. So let's do id1, title, just give a post1, and for the content just give a this is post1. Okay, so let's copy and paste. It should be this is post2, and the title, it should be this post2, and the ID, let's give it 2. Alright, save, and let's go back to index.js. Oh yeah, why this is automatically changing to double quote and have the semicolon in here? By the way, I'm using Prettier. Okay, so let's back to index.js. And I'm going to import the reducer in here. So import post reducer should be from, wait, I cannot typing anymore, dot slash store slash reducer slash post reducer, and let's bring in this function inside in here. Bam. Wait, I'm doing this. Oh, just typing that. Post reducer. Okay, so the next step is let's go to React Redux and go to quick start maybe. Let's scroll down. If you want to your entire app available to access the store, you need to import provider. And this provider is gonna come from React Redux, and you need to wrap entire your app using provider and store the store variable inside the store. Okay, so let's back to the index.js. We need to import provider should be from React Redux. And we need to wrap everything in here with provider like so. Let's copy this thing right here, cut that out, and put inside a provider. And let's give a store, set it equals to store, should become from store right here. Okay, save. So now entire our app is available to access the store right here, which is the initial state in here. Oh yeah, I forgot that. We should give a default value, which is init state. Okay, and we're returning down here the state in here, and basically the initial state. Okay, so let's go to the, I want to read this state to components and post list. Okay, so in here, if you go to React Redux documentation and let's go to connect, you can see in here, by the way. Okay, you need to import connect, and connect is basically just a function that return a high order component. So you need to wrap the component inside in here, and you create map state to props and the state you have, and returning the state down here. And you need to paste in your map state to props inside a connect function like so. Okay, let's do in post list right here. We need to import what connect, right? It should be from React Redux. So let's do down here. We need to call the connect down here like so, and bam. So in here we need to create a function called map state to props, set that equals to arrow function, and this have a parameter which is state, and not this state, just state. And in here we need to return object, and you don't have dot right there, and so we need to return the post and give a value in here which is state dot post. Okay, state in here is basically of right, this is object. You don't need to give a semicolon, and just give a comma in there. So the state right here should be the state in here. So if you need to access the post, you need to give a state dot post. That's why we're using state dot post and storing the value inside a post property name. So inside a connect in here, we need to bring in the map state to props, map state to props, and now our component is available to access the state. So we need to just console log for now. Just say state. We cannot do inside in here. Just put down the render function, which is the inside the render function. So let's save and let's take a look in the final project. Console. What the hell? Console. Okay, pretty cool. So let's see. And I'm going to open the console. So console, we get null. So what a problem. Oh, should be props, man. What I'm doing. Okay, so let's try to see. Okay, basically we have post and array, and we have the state right here. Okay, so it is work. So now we need to showing this data in this page. So let's go back, and what I'm doing here is just create a variable called post, set it equals to this dot state, not state again, this dot props dot post. We need to access the post. All right, if you have the same name, the function, and in here you need to just remove that and wrap the variable inside right here. Okay, just like that, just do the same thing, so you don't need to worry about that. So now let's map the post right here. We need to just cut the post detail, and let's do post and, meaning if the post have a value or the post is true, we need to run this, which is post.map, and for every single post I want to call the post detail in here and send the individual posts to post as a property, and should be have a key so we don't have any issue in console. We can do post.id. Okay, so now save, and let's go to post detail, and in here we need to just console.log for now. Say post, not post, what I call this, props. Okay, and again it should be under the render function, so prop is not defined. Yeah, it should be this dot props. Okay, sorry about that, I'm so really confusing. Yeah, basically we have two, which is post 1 and post 2. Okay, it should be post 1. Why this is called 2 times, I don't know why. Okay, so you see in here we have a 2 post 1 because it's mapped through the post array right here. We have two object inside a post array. That's why we have 2 object in here, 2 card. Okay, so let's back to post detail, and what we are going to do in here is you can just change the title to this dot post, this dot props dot post, and you need to access the title. Okay, so post dot title, like so, and if I save now, we should see the title down here. You see we have post 1 and post 2. Okay, so in the content, just remove the lorem, and we can do the same thing, this dot props dot post dot content. So now we should see the post 1, and this is post 1, and post 2, this is post 2. Okay, it's working, but what I want to do in here is just do const post, so that equals to this dot props. Okay, so now in here I just want to put post dot title. Let's get rid of this, like so, and should be do the same thing. Okay, nothing error, cool. So now if I add a state, which is post reducer in here, I want to add another content. So let's do post 3, and this title, say 3, and content 3, save, and we should see 3 down here, like that. Pretty awesome. So what we are going to do next is we need to make this button work, which is the delete button. If I delete that, I want to the post what I am clicking is gone. So let's go to the post detail right here. Just want to close the terminal, I think. And in the post detail, I want to import the connect function again. So import connect from Redux, and down here, wait, it's wrong, delete that. And down here we need to bring in the connect function. So connect like so, and in here we need to create a variable called map dispatch to props, so that it goes to arrow function is have a parameter which is dispatch, and down here we need to returning object, and let's create a delete pose, and should be have ID, and we need to dispatch action in here. So let's do function in here. We can give a type, just say delete underscore pose, and give ID. We need to specify the ID, all right? So let's do ID, set it equals to ID. But if you have the same name and same value, just do ID like that. So now let's go to the button delete, and we need to add on click event in here. So on click, set it equals to, we need to access this. Remember, now we can access this function as in a property. We can access that using this dot props dot delete pose, and let's send ID. We can access that using this thing right here. Okay, can do pose dot ID. Now we need to bring in the map dispatch to props inside this connect function. You can do like that, but the first parameter it should be null, because connect it should be have two parameter, and the first parameter should be map state to props, and the second is map dispatch to props. And if you don't have map state to props in component, you just give it null. Okay, because map dispatch to props it should be the second property. Okay, so now let's save that. And what do you think happen if I click the delete right now? Basically nothing happened, because in post.reducer you not specify the case if we clicking the type delete post right here. So we need to let's back to the reducer, and down here I think just want to console.log for now. Console.log state, not this dot state, comma, and action. So let's see it's work. Let's click this. Bam. Now we have the pose, and down here we have the type, which is delete pose, and ID too. Alright, so what we are going to do in here is just checking if the type is delete pose, we need to do something. Okay, so let's back in here. We need to create a condition in here just for checking. You can use if statement, or you can use switch. Okay, we can use switch in here. So let's access this action dot type. Okay, remember in here we can access the type, which is now delete pose. Okay, and down here, if the case is delete pose, we need to return something in here, which is delete pose. If the type delete pose, that's we click in here with the delete button, the case it should be delete pose. All right, the type I mean. So let's back. We need to return object in here, but in up here I just want to I just want to create a variable called new post, and it should be equals to state dot, need to access the post right there, post, and we're gonna using filter in here, and filter and post, set it equals to arrow function, and post dot id is not equals to action dot id, just like that. What happened in here is we want to return post if the post have id is not equal the action id. Okay, yeah, just go back to return in here. We need to give a post and new post like that. So now save that, and yeah, you don't need to give a semicolon, and save. And so let's back to the project. If I click that, bam, 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 pretty awesome. Refresh, should be back to the default value. Delete, delete, delete. Okay, working. But down here, I want to just remove the return, and inside a switch tag, I want to create the default case, and let's return the state down here. Okay, so that's for the delete post. So next, I want to the add post right here. It's working. So if I click the submit, we have new post down here. So let's back, and I just want to close the post list and post detail and the index.js as well. So we need to open the add post component inside in here. Pretty cool. So now we need to, the first thing is I want to create state. So we can do state, set it equals to object, and in here I want to create post and just give id 3, and title just set to empty, and for the content set to empty. This is for the default value. So let's do, where is the form, like in the input right here, I want to give a value. Okay, so value, so that equals to this dot state dot post dot value, which is title. And for the text area, I want to give a value also. So for value, so that equals to this dot state dot post dot content. Okay, so now save, and if I try to add title, I cannot typing anymore, because now the default value of the title and content will be empty string, come from here. Okay, so we need to add handle change in the input right here. We can do like that. You can say on change, set that equals to this dot handle change. Okay, let's just copy this thing right here, and I want to paste to the text area as well. Okay, so now let's create the handle change function. We can do up here like that. We can do handle change, so that equals to arrow function, and this should be have parameter, which is just give a e, and I want to console.log the e.target.value, which is everything we're trying to typing inside in here inside the input. So if I typing that, as you can see, it should be console log whatever I typing in here. So we need to change this title to whatever we typing in the input. So we can do in here this dot set state like so, and inside in here I want to grab the post, just the post right here, and what I want to do is I want to grab the default value, which is this.state.pose. Okay, and I want to do is a dot target dot name, which is what we have in the input. Every input have name, right? This is have a title and this is have a content, which is represent the name property inside the pose object. We have a title and content. Okay, so in here we need to change the value to e.target.value. So now every time I changing, it should be working. Okay, so that's the meaning. If I try to add content, the value in here it should be updated. Okay, so next we need to handle the on submit. Let's go to the form in here. I want to handle the on submit. Set it equals to, let's create another function in here, which is this dot handle submit. You can give any name you want, doesn't matter. So let's do in here like that. Okay, say handle submit, set that equals to arrow function again, and just give a parameter e, and I want to say e dot prevent default. Okay, just console log the state, this state dot pose. Okay, so let's try that. Typing submit should be in the console right now. ID tree, title, and content. So far so good. But you know what? When I try to submit in here, I want to the content should be gone. I don't want to they stick in there. Okay, so what we are going to do is you can just copy this state right here and bring in here, and I want to just remove that. Let's do the title should be back to the empty string, and the content should be back to empty string as well. So let's try now. If I type in something in title and the content, if I submit, it should be gone. Okay, pretty cool. Let's back. So in here, what we are going to do is just go to down here. We need to create a function again, which is map should be dispatch to props. So that equals to arrow function, and it should be take a parameter which is dispatch, and down here we need to return a function which is create pose, and it should be pose. Okay, and so that equals to dispatch, and for the action let's give a type to add underscore pose, and for the pose we need to set pose. If you have the same name, again you can remove the value like that, and we need to bringing the connect inside in here. You can do connect, and let's bring let's bring the map dispatch to props down here, and again you need to give a null for the first parameter, and then the map dispatch to props in here. Of course you need to import the connect up here, just make sure. Okay, so now let's back to post reducer, and let's checking for the case. if I try to click add post, we need to just console log. Yeah, just console log. You click me. Okay, so let's try to save that and let's add post. See, and at post I want to just remove the console, I think. Yeah, right here. And every time I click the submit, which is the button submit right here, I want to running this function down here, which is create post function. So let's copy and paste inside a handle submit. And remember, in create post function down here, you should have the post. So we can send the post inside in here, by the way. So let's do this dot state dot post like so. So now save and create post is not defined. Oh yeah, you need to access the create post using the property, all right? So we can do this dot props dot create post like that. So it should be working now. If I want to add title and content, now you have click me in the console. So that's work. So let's back to the reducer, and we don't need just console log in here. We need to something that adding post. So we can do case. Oh, I am doing that. It should be return. Okay, and return object. So we need to create post in here. We need to grab the state. We can do 3 dots state dot post. Okay, meaning we grab this thing right here, entire post, and we need to give a comma, and we need to add action dot post, which is the new post. Okay, so try to save, and now if I add title, content, submit, we get the data done here. If you want to new post will becoming the new element, which is the first thing in here, we can do just copy this thing right here and bringing to the first like that. Okay, so now save, and if you try to add post, it should be in the first element. We can do submit and in here. Okay, don't worry about the key right here because we set that to 3 every time we add post. Where's that? Right here. So we need to install UUID to generate random ID. So let's add a terminal, and we can do npm install. I forget that. So let's looking for UUID. Like that. Okay, so you can do npm install UUID. Enter that, and I want to see how we can use this. We can import version 4. To use that, we can just do like that. Okay, pretty simple. So let's go back in here. So we need to import UUID version 4. Oh, see, version 4. Version 4, give a alias UUID version 4, and it should be from UUID. And to running this random number, which is the UUID, we can just remove the value and do the something like that. So save. I want to back to the post reducer. I want to remove the default value. just give an empty string, empty array. So let's try to save, close this thing right here, and now we should see like that. Okay, we can add post, just say post1. Why post1? Here it is, and just say this is content. Really, content for the post1. I can't typing anymore. Please somebody help me. If I click submit, now we have post1 in here. So let's try to add post2. So this is post2. Submit, now we have post2 in here. But the key is not unique. Okay, so let's see in add post.js component, and in here the problem is you don't need to give a ID in the state right here. You need to give a ID when you click the submit, which is down here. Okay, and up here what you can do is just give an empty ID like so. Okay, so now let's try to save and see post1. This is post1, and submit, we get a post1. So far so good. So post2, and this is post2. I hope not error, so let's click that. Yeah, it's working. So let's add a post3. This is post3. Wait, I can typing. Here it is. So I think that's it for this video. And for the next video, we're going to try convert this code, which is we are going to rewrite that. We are going to using class-based component instead using class like that. And we're going to dealing with use reducer, use dispatch, or something like that. So are you excited for that? So I'm going to see you in the next video. And as always, bye.